Hey students, it's Morales, and this is our Unit 1 and 2 Mapping Fun Review Overview. Basically, I'm going to explain the instructions for you how to get started. So make sure you listen carefully. You can always come back to this and get some extra help. This thing is also known as Martin's Marvelous Mapping Activity. I tried to find an M thing for activity, but nothing. Maptivity. Alright, that's not working. Anyways, here we go. Review of Unit 1 and 2. So Unit 1 and 2 Mapping Fun Instructions. This is on the paper, on the yellowish paper that you're going to get. Okay, so make sure you follow this carefully. It shouldn't be too hard. It'll be complicated. It'll be challenging because there's a lot of stuff. But as far as stuff that you don't know, you should have a clue about what most of these things are. Okay. If not, it means that you're probably not on track to do well in the AP Unit 1 and 2 tests or the AP class. So this is your time to go back and get what you didn't get before. All right. Okay, I listed a couple helpful items right here, pages in the book, and also listed that your AMSCO book will be very helpful. If it's not in the art traditions in the counter book, is definitely in the AMSCO. You can also use the internet to help you out because a lot of these things are already listed in there. Make sure you're looking for AP World stuff. Don't just be that silly goose that writes down whatever they find. Don't be a Paco. You have to think a bit. All right. Make sure you're paying attention to this part right here in bold. I don't know if my mouse is clicking here. Okay, and yes, I could do this. So right here it says, as you work, consider how each fits into, okay, Unit 1, Development of States from 1200 to 1450, and Unit 2, Cross-Culture Interaction. So everything goes back to how does this thing fit into that? What are they doing? So always, always, always work with proper purpose, okay? And then any underlying items in there require a map tag, okay? So I'll explain a map tag soon. All right, so here's kind of what it looks like. I'm just going to go through the basics right here. Physical features. These. Let's see what you can identify in the map real quick. Identify and label each of the following items. You may need to draw some of these on the map, so some of them are showing up. East China Sea, Baltic Sea. I think most of them are on there. Oh, Sahara Desert. Okay, Sahara Desert. You have to put down where it's at, but that should be easy. It's not like you draw anything. You just find in a region. Nothing extensive on that. Just label them. Boom. Let's move. Oh, Lake Texcoco. That one has to be drawn on there because I don't think it's big. It doesn't show up on your map, but it's an important place for units 1 and 2. Cities. Okay. Just put a dot and then a line from the dot and connect it and label it. Label it where it is. Okay. For any place that's got an underline right here, you're going to put a tag so the tag will work as a label, so you don't have to double label it. All right, so the ones that are underlined are important places because they have some sort of important element to what's going on in the time periods. The other ones are very important to know, but these are more important. Okay, so make sure you do a good job with those. Okay, states. So these are states, not like United States, but these are political states, in other words, political entities. And you don't have to worry about getting the borders perfect. That should not be the big deal. Okay, I see kids like, oh, I have to draw this exactly. Okay, no, we just got to get relatively close. So if they're not perfect, it's not a big deal. But they should be in the kind of the location where they actually do belong, because that could be helpful. Label each of the Mongol Khanates. Okay, Grand Khanate, Persian, the 4 Khanate, sorry. Okay, and I'm reading you guys the instructions, which I hate doing. Anyways, you got this. And once again, the underlined ones, like Dar al-Islam, that's a big one. So when you label that one, you're going to make a tag for that one. And then kind of do a brief explanation why it matters and some sort of symbol to go along with it. We'll talk more, okay? So I've specifically cut it down as to how many tags you got to do. So make sure you're on top of that and doing them with purpose, All right, trade routes, Silk Roads, Trans-Saharan, Hansa trade route. I added that one because that's a good one to know, even though it's not a huge one in the overall scheme of things. It's an important one because you could be the kid that uses, okay, this is similar to what happened in Northern Europe with the Hansa trade routes, okay, that took place. Okay, and then the people will be astounded because you know the Hansa trade route, which most of the AP kids won't know. They'll know Silk Road, so know Trans-Saharan, they'll know Indian Ocean. You guys know that really well, okay? But you guys are also going to add this element, okay? Polynesian migration trade route, not trade routes, migration routes, because there wasn't so much trade. All right, I'm speaking fast because I want to get through this quickly. Trade routes at the top, I should have cut that off. Religious diffusion, okay? So there's 3 religious aspects that you got to be worried about: Buddhism, Christianity, and spread of Hinduism. I'm sorry, spread of Islam. So those are the top 3. Spread of Hinduism, that's just in South Asia. So it's not too much of a spread, okay? It's just going to be influenced into influence into India, and then a little bit into Southeast Asia. Okay, so I kind of took that down, but you could do the spread of religions by putting this focal point where it starts, and then maybe using a highlighter to spread it into other places and showing arrows where it went to. Okay, so think about what we did. If you go back to the earlier chapters, a whole bunch of stuff, you'll see that Christianity spreads one way, Islam spreads multiple ways, and Buddhism kind of in general spreads one way as well. All right, identify and label where each of the following listed where each item listed developed and diffused. Okay, so this is a big one because this is a big deal. So what symbol could you use for cotton? Maybe a cloud, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Okay, and then sugarcane, that's a big one. All these are great ones to know because these are things that are definitely going to show up on some sort of test. Okay, the plague, where it started, where it spread to, spread of paper, spread of bananas. There might be a couple that you double up on because a couple of them are like fall in the same general direction and pattern. Maybe you get ingenious and come up with, hey, these arrows indicate that not only this is spreading, but these other things are spreading. So if you think them through a little bit, this will help out. All right, diasporic communities. They have shown up on tests before. Kids are always confused about diasporic community, but I think this group in particular, because I've heard you guys mention it, isn't that a diaspora? Yeah, that's a diasporic community, a group of people with a similar culture move to another place and bring with them their culture, and then they end up living there in this place, and they kind of share their ideas with others and spread the influence in that place, and get to some extent or to lesser extent. That would be diasporic. So those are good ones to know. There's not a ton. Okay. All right. These are developments. So put a star by that one. Okay. Let's put a star. There's like a pentagram thing. All right. Identify and label where each of the monsoon winds. Pretty simple. Okay. Come up with something. Grand Canal. That's going to be drawn in. Neo-Confucianism. You got to come up with some symbol when where it started. Okay. Anywhere you stick it into that place. Okay. You have the shogunate. That's in a different spot. Okay. Feudalism. Okay. Which is that could be in two different spots. You might get creative and make sure you identify the two because oftentimes there's a comparison. How did feudalism in one place, okay, and how did feudalism in the other place, how were they similar and different? House of Wisdom, dude, you know this one, okay? Bhakti movement, I think you've been exposed to that to some extent. Yes, you have. Okay, the sock, okay, sock, okay. That one's a good one to know. Where did sock start? Okay, what was it? Paper money, that started in one place. Camel saddle, that started in one place but became more influential in another place. Caravanserai, that one's a good one. Angkor Wat, this is one you don't know. You might have to look that one up. Champa Rice, you know that one. Crusades, you know that. Mongol Yam, that one you don't know either. It's not in our book, but it's a big deal. So big deal. Movable type printing, that's one term. Okay. Huitzilopochtli is our example. That's why he's italicized. Mita, it was mentioned in one or two things. I know it was mentioned in the reading in the Waru. That sounds like a lame dog. Okay. That one, once you see it and hear it, that's a good one to know because there's something that's very similar to us, and it shows an example of a kind of tech developing. Little Ice Age was just mentioned in the last chapter. Guilds, we saw that in the Poopy London video, and also you saw it in the Europe chapter. City charters, that was in Poopy London. That was in Poopy London, and it shows us someplace. China Maps, which is a map, or it's a bridge that connects Mexico to China. Okay. All right. So these things are all good ones to know. So this one right here, developments. Put them in there. Think about that. If you're going to do, this is the one you want to make sure you understand them well. All right. Here's a map tag. Here's what it looks like. So map tag for all underlined items. Annotate your map, including a map tag for each underlined item. So basically, you're making an annotated map. Okay. So here I had to draw in Lake Texcoco because it wasn't in there. It's some shape like that. It's not, the shape is not huge, but about the location. Okay, and then, the tag will include the name of the item and a brief statement about what it was and its significance. So, and a symbol to represent the item. So here's got Huitzilopochtli, and I think I said it right. And, here's, this guy's being, sacrifice. Aztec god that demanded sacrifice in return for conquest, factor for Aztec expansion. Boom, that's enough. That's enough. This is not proper grammar, but we get this. Huitzilopochtli is the god that was that kind of encouraged Aztecs to continue to dominate. There was a statement that said that as long as you sacrifice to me, we will continue to prosper. And then once you slow down, we're not going to prosper. And so that's this kind of weird thing. And this is why the Aztecs started to conquer some of the things, because they wanted to do more sacrifice, and it paid off. So they do more sacrifice, and it paid off, and they do even more sacrifice, and they paid off. All right, building your map. This is a tough part. You're gonna get this right. So I got a couple pieces of advice. First of all, you're going to 4 pages. Basically, it's a large map. It's 4 regular sized pieces of paper put together to make one big map. Combine them to make one large map. You can cut the overlap or not. There's a little overlap. I'll show you the picture in a second. Okay. Make sure that in the middle where the map is, that you put the tape on the back. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to put it together. Okay. Because once you put the tape on the front side, it's very hard to draw on the tape or write on the tape. In fact, some of the tape doesn't let you do it. So, and then put your name and period on the map so you don't lose it. You can fold it up so you can take it back and forth. Okay, that'll be fine. So here's what it is. Here's one page, and then pages 1, 2, 3, and 4 are together. So this is just the top left half. Then I put the top left and the top right together. This is the overlap that I'm talking about right here. So this like little piece right here. Overlap. Okay, I don't care if you keep it there. Okay, make it easy. It's up to you. Okay, some kids are like particular and they want to do it. And then right here, put the tape. You could kind of barely see the tape on this video, but once I got them in corner right here, I'm going to put the tape on the corner and then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to tape it to the table, actually flip it, and then tape the back side. Okay, if that makes sense. So right here, I just flip the 2 papers up, over, and put the tape together, and then I'll tape on the back side. Okay, so I do that one, and then I add on the bottom ones. So here you could kind of see that on this one I did cut a little bit. So I cut these guys. So I took a little bit off of here and a little bit off of this one. Where's Mousy? So you can see right here where these guys almost connect kind of much better than these guys. So if you're a big deal, like, oh, this is important to me, take the time. Okay, but don't take too much time. Okay. And I think that's it. So then we start to follow the instructions and complete the review. So this is kind of the general. I just did 1 or 2 or 3 just to show you an example. So do your best. Okay, challenge yourself to see what you can do without any help. So this is I highly recommend it. Okay, and then what you ought to do, what you should do, is like the things that you're struggling on. Those are the ones you want to focus in and make sure you know them well. The ones you know, boom, why? We know, okay, the Grand Khanate was the Mongol Empire, also known as the Yuan Dynasty. Okay, so we know this one. Okay, so here's an example of what's happening. Oh, I gotta hit, okay, visuals. Okay, so there's my visual. Can I make this blow up? Let's blow it up. Okay, check that out. Okay, so this is Kublai Khan. I just drew this the other day. And he's got a hat, and this I've seen before on like a Mongol helmet. I thought maybe. But anyways, he's Kublai Khan because he's chubby. He's sitting on a chair on like a throne thing, and he's sitting on top of China. Okay, so here's the guy's feet, and then it says China, his head. You can't see right here because but you can see this fantastic artistic rendition of he's kind of in pain, it doesn't like it. And then here I put Kublai K for Khan, and obviously he's got a sword because he's a Mongol, and he's sitting on top of China, which represents what's going on. This is Khan Balik, late 1200s to 1790s, Mongol capital of the Yuan China. So this makes sense right here, and then I draw an arrow to where it is, and there's Khan Balik. Okay, and so I smeared it when I highlighted it in yellow. Look at that highlighter job, it's awesome. All right, so that would be the visual. That also is the tag. Oops. The tag. Oops, where is it? The tag. This is the tag that came out of pacing came out wrong on those. Okay, there's a the labels right here, Grand Khanate, and then right here, Indian Ocean. That's it. I just need a location for that stuff. And then the shading. What a beautiful job of shading. Like I have to tell you, that's shading. All right, that's the essence of what's going on. Good luck. Okay. Oh, on the back side is a rubric. Don't put any marks in this area, you guys. Okay, this is for Morales. Okay, so it says don't mark this, but this is, you can put like a check mark over here, a small one. Okay, so it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing over here because that's how I'll be grading it. Okay, there's a couple terms. Oh, Noria. Okay, you need to know that one. That one, the Noria and the water wheel, they have shown up, but you've never seen it as Noria. Okay, so you need to put that into your maps, I think. All right, good luck. And, oh, be sure to work with proper purpose. It's not about getting it done. It's about getting it done right. No Pacos. Good luck. Morales loves you. Oh, this is due on... He'll tell you in class.